All right, what you're looking at here is the dashboard for the tool that we use the most. Our managed clients have this tool. They're probably familiar with it. This is the dashboard view. However, this view is a little bit unique to me. A manager or the owner of the company would have a very similar view. There's a lot of pieces to this tool. It's customizable, as we talked about in our previous. We want that. But the key takeaways I want you to see in here before we dig deep is this ESS score, employee security score. This score works just like a credit score, for lack of a better explanation. Everybody is assigned by default a certain base score, and then the tool starts doing calculations to see where that employee really is. What it is for a manager or an owner is an idea of, in this case, what your company average is, but over here, what your employee scores are, and how that gets calculated. So the key things it's looking at, and again, we'll dig a little deeper into these in a moment, is, are my employees doing the trainings? Are they doing well or poorly at the phishing exercises? Do they have any data that's leaked out on the dark web? Things of that nature. There are some other pieces to that. The policies can count, and we'll talk about that in the customization section. But this is kind of the high level view. You know, if you just wanted an executive summary about, hey, where am I at and where are my employees on cybersecurity? This is what you're looking for here.
So do you ever have clients that ask, hey, I got this one person or a couple people that are way, way, way down on the list, that what kind of red flags should that be showing me, and how can I make them, are there steps I can take to help them out with that score?
For sure. Most of the time, there's really a couple, and this is important to understand. One thing you run into, if you have an old company, Infinity's been in business 22 years, 23 years.
27.
Yeah.
That's right.
A long time. So if you've had the same email address that whole time, the likelihood that that email address occurs in data breaches over the years is higher. And what I mean by that, the way I'll illustrate it is, if I pulled my report today, and again, I've been here for a long time, I'm going to have more breaches notify me than somebody who was hired 6 months ago, right? So there's some things that are unavoidable. Now, I say unavoidable in the sense that that's the initial score. You asked about how an employee, how a manager would talk about improving that score. So you could go look at the reports and see, are they doing the trainings? If they're not doing the trainings, encourage them. There's reports you can generate in here that can kind of say, hey, these are employees that have done training, these who haven't. You can also configure reports to let an employee know, hey, your score dropped below this far, so go do the trainings. I know it's kind of silly, but the trainings are really easy to do, but they're also really important. You're ticking that, ongoing frequency marker we talked about a few minutes ago, and you're also giving them a way to improve their score. Now, if they're not going to do the trainings, you might need to have a conversation with them. But that's not the only thing they can do. Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say one way of kind of helping them with the perspective on it is, we've got this tool for all of us to try to help us as a group be more secure. And we're trying to avoid the worst case possibility, which is one day you click on something you shouldn't have because you didn't know it was a bad link or whatever. And
right.
And now we've taken the entire company down, or we're having to explain to our clients why we've lost some really sensitive information, that sort of thing. So it's really something to help them help themselves.
For sure. And I think most people, if they understood that, would probably be more apt to do it. It's part of the advantage here. We only have 3 employees in this demo, but being able to see where you stack up, with other people, they call this gamifying, the system, the environment. There's other stuff you could do too. If they're panicked because they have a bunch of stuff on the dark web, you kind of get this, fingers in the ears. I'm not going to look at it. Going over them with what that means, and we'll talk about that when we look at these tabs specifically, but there's a lot you can do to encourage them. The training does ironically cover some of that. A lot of times, even in a 3-minute video, they'll talk about for the first 60 seconds why this is important. So I always, I will beat hard on the drum of encourage them all to do the training, and it'll kind of solve a lot of the rest.